Si Governor Pagdanganan was raising his hand. No? Let's go back to BSP muna. Can we prepare the presentation of Attorney Ponferrada? Yeah, Governor Pagdanganan.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to clarify a few points, hopefully to shed light on the transaction Malugay property and to assure the public that we were able to assure the public that we are able to prevent any kalokohan dito, and we've been able to assure the public that we have protected the interest of Boyscout of the Philippines. The property in question is Malugay property, 1 hectare, which was donated by Goodyear Philippines, later Sime Darby Philippines, to the Boy Scouts on condition that it will be leased back for 25 years initially, renewable for another 25 years, which means that from 1976, when it was finalized, it will be leased to them until 2026. Now, there is this mutual interest on the part of Sime Darby and Boy Scouts of the Philippines to dispose of the property as early as 1990. Because the part of Sime Darby, they wanted out of the country, and for Boy Scouts, Your Honor, we had to raise funds because we cannot survive on just 26 pesos contribution per member. Now, we made sure that along the way, the procedures and the bylaws of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines were followed. On May 18, 1994, the resolution was approved by the National Council authorizing the sale of the property. A bidding was undertaken after publication in Business World, Manila Bulletin, and PDI. And eventually it was a bidding, but there was a failure in bidding. I'll tell why later on, Your Honor. Then, in Cayetano de Oro in 1997, precisely on May 29, another resolution was passed to authorize the sale. Again, there was bidding, but again, there was failure of bidding. And the main reason why the bidding failed at that time was even while there were pre-authorized bidders, they did not pursue the bid because of two reasons. The lien on the title, because the lease rental, and also because of height restrictions in Makati at that time. Now, finally, in 2007, on December 14, 2007, the National Executive Board, then Corporate Assets Management Committee Chair and Vice President of Boy Scouts, the Honorable then Vice Mayor Mercado, submitted a proposal to the board. And here, there were two main aspects. Number one, to have the appraisal of Malugay property undertaken. And number two, to get the authorization to negotiate the sale or come up with some arrangement by which we can give due course the desire of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines to raise funds. Indeed, the Malugay property was appraised by three parties: Asian Appraisal, Colliers, and Cuervo Appraisal. I noticed Mr. Cuervo is here. And the highest appraisal was that by Mr. Cuervo at 954,629,000 pesos for the total area. Again, 954,629,000. And then there was an attempt to bid, but again, there was a failure bidding on February 22, 2008, Your Honor. And because of that, the failure of bidding was because only one participated, Ayala Land. I had the documents which can turn over to the private authorities in COA, because we welcome COA. That's the truth at the Boy Scouts. Now, Ayala Land participated, the only one, so there was failure of bidding. And therefore...
Sir, just on that point, you welcome COA now, but you've always resisted them as a Boy Scout.
As a Boy Scout, Your Honor, at the beginning, we were not a GOCC, and we had a private auditor, the SGV.
Yeah.
When the initial attempt was done, the board deliberated and decided to clarify certain legal points.
Okay.
So that was the only thing there. But of course, we need to settle, Your Honor. We've been working with them at the head office, as far as I'm concerned. But to continue, Your Honor, so again, the assessment by Cuervo Appraisal was 954,629,000. Because of failure of bidding, then there was this authority given to negotiate, to look for options, and then came, at that time, Colliers was authorized, Sime Darby was authorized, and then Alpha Land came into the picture. So I'm just highlighting there was publication.
Sir, did you know how Alpha Land came into the picture?
I have information.
How did they come into the picture?
They made an offer.
No, sir.
That was,
In the last hearing, sir, pinakilala ni Vice President Binay si Mr. Oreta kay Vice Mayor Mercado. Saka lang sila nag-offer.
okay. So, all right.
So it was a personal talk between the Vice President and Mr. Oreta that started the deal.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
just to
stand
clarify.
corrected, Your Honor. All right. So then Alpha Land came in, and so the deal was it was joint venture agreement eventually, and we had 15% share on the basis of 600 million share of the 1 billion. In other words, even while it was appraised at 154,629,000, the basis for the transaction was 1 billion, 600 million to the Boy Scouts and 400 million to Sam Darby. Now, on that basis, it was agreed upon in a joint venture that 15% of the total floor area should go to the Boy Scouts and 85% to the to Alpha Land. But there was also this colatilla in the contract that the matter of identifying the individual units shall be executed in a supplemental agreement on the basis of mutual agreement between Boy Scouts and Alpha Land.
Sir, that's absolutely correct until there, but 15% per tower.
That's
Per
the
tower,
subject.
sir.
That's it, Your Honor, may clarify that point.
The subject, sir, is which units in that tower. Pero 15% per tower.
50% of the tower,
Yes.
15% of the podium, and
Yes,
15% of the
Yes.
parking
Until
spaces.
that point, sir. Kasi later on na iba eh. Napunta ng 15%, lahat tower 3.
We will clarify that, sir. So, in other words, 15% of the total area of the 3 towers, 15% of the podium, 15% of the parking spaces. Again, there's this colatilla that we have to agree upon ourselves, between ourselves, on the identification of the units to be assigned to both parties. And that's the reason why the NEB, the National Executive Board, organized a task force, a management committee, which I now chair, with Mr. Ederlin, the assistant, the Secretary General, and Jun Anyag, Correspondent Anyag, and National Treasurer as members. And we've been working on this. If I may report, Your Honor, just yesterday, we decided that we needed to get a copy of the architectural plan. But it was decided in a meeting with Alpha Land last February 26, that they will assign values to each unit, and then we shall identify the units, summarize the total value of all the units, and then 15% of the total value shall go to Boy Scouts, and we shall identify which units shall sum up to this total amount.
Sir, when did you take over, sir, that committee?
I was October 2014, last year, Your
Last
Honor.
year lang, sir. Because the testimony of the Vice Mayor was that these architectural plans at yung pagpipili should have been done before or when the construction was done. So to be fair to you, I understand you're saying that we're looking after the interests of the BSP and we're making sure na yung mga Boy Scouts ay
Protection lang.
di ba, nandun kayo para sa kanila. But just to update you, because in the previous hearing, ang ano nga ni Vice Mayor, nung nag-umpisa ito lahat, ang usapan from the start. Kasi katulad po ngayon, may nabenta na ng mga units eh. So kahit na yun ang piliin yung unit, ang price na makukuha nyo, yung binenta. Samantalang if you chose that at sinabi nyo wag muna, kasi every year ho, tumataas eh.
Opo.
Ang presyo. But to be fair to you, and you have a good name,
Thank you, sir.
you've taken over at that time. No?
October po, last year. But the agreement now, Your Honor, is that even if the units sold, if there are X units sold, 15% of that shall go to the Boy Scouts, and if you get Y units, 15% of the value of the total Y units sold, unsold, will still be going to the Boy Scouts. So altogether, 15% of the total value.
When did you agree on that, sir?
That was part of the agreement, Your Honor.
No, when was that? Yung specific na yan.
The
Yung
last meeting
nyo?
was February 26, Your Honor.
Of this year.
Just last February, yes.
Oo nga, kaya nga. Because already as a result of our hearings.
The hearing has been very helpful, Your Honor.
Yeah, I know. Kasi
Yes.
nga, that's why I asked the date of your joint venture, 2008 pa po yun.
Apo,
Which mentioned the execution of a supplemental agreement precisely to identify the units. 2015 na po ngayon. So,
Yes, Your Honor.
ang nagpakilos po sa inyo is the hearing.
well, it can be said that the hearing has helped, but in fairness, Your Honor, as early as October last year, we formed the committee because the agreement said that we'll have to identify the units, and the units could not be identified until the towers and the buildings are put
Di,
up.
sir, sa plano, sir. Sa plano, do you really have to have the physical before you can identify? Or sa plano, you can already identify?
We didn't like it at the beginning, Your Honor, because the prices were low at that point.
No,
we
no,
wanted
no,
to be
no.
sure.
Theoretically, I'm asking you, could the identification of the units be done even without the physical building based on the plan?
It can be done,
Yeah, it
but
can
we,
be done, yeah.
we wanted to be sure that we are going to get a fair share. Because if you identify it at that time, baka po mura
Kaya nga,
magkamali
so
kami.
now that may hearing na sa Senado, you can now be assured that you will have a fair share.
Oh, this helps a lot, Your
Yeah.
Honor. As I said,
Well, anyway,
I've been
Sir Chair,
acknowledging
just
that.
one point of that, Governor, no, and I think you should renegotiate that with Alpha Land for the sake of the Boy Scouts. Kung may pinili kayo na binenta na, dapat ang 15% nyo, hindi yung presyo ng pagkabenta, kung hindi yung presyo of today. Kasi ang problema, binenta na nila bago kayo mamili. So I'll give you an example. If they bought a certain unit at 20 million 2 years ago, and that unit now is 30, you only get 15% of 20 when you're supposed to get 15% of 30. Kasi hindi dapat sila nagbenta hanggang nakapili ka. Kasi ang sinabi ni Mr. Avisado dito, ni Attorney Avisado, kaya hindi mo na namin pinili, nag-iisip kami, investment o gagamitin na yung pera. So kung investment, patagalin natin kasi mainit ang market ngayon, pataas ng pataas. Ang problema, hindi na siya makapili, hindi na po kayo makapili kasi nabenta na. So it's a good development now, no? Yung sinasabi niyo pong namimili na kayo. Pero kung yung pipiliin nyo at nabenta na, and it is the better units, you cannot accept 15% of the sold price. Kailangan abonohan ng Alpha Land yung present price ngayon. Kung hindi po, lugi kayo.
Well, that's one way we look at it, Your Honor, but the way we look at it also is that we want to make sure that the totality of the value of the total property, basta we get 15%. Doon po sa nabenta na, we get 15%. Pero doon sa hindi pa nabenta, which are at higher prices now, we will get 15% of the total.
But sir,
Kaya
the
po-
problem with that, you won't be getting the best deal for BSP.
Well, I think it's a fair deal, Your Honor.
No, sir, it's not about having a fair deal. It's about having the best deal because you're representing the Boy Scout, they're representing the Alpha Land. Alpha Land wants to make more, BSP wants to get more. But since binenta na nila nang hindi pa, you will get less.
Your Honor,
So every time you say na, sige, so that's 10 million more, you lose 1.5 million. Every time you say na, sige, sa Alpha Land na lang 1.5 million, Boy Scout ang mawawala ng 1.5 million.
that's one way we look at it, sir. But we all know that the 200,000 could have been 100,000 today.
Yes, sir,
So what
but
we're
it was
saying
your
is-
option, sir, to choose eh. You did not choose and they sold it na. Dapat nakipag-usap kayo sa kanila before. Kung bibenta nyo yan at hindi pa kami namimili, we will go at this price.
Apo, pero at that point in time, Your Honor, we feel that 15% of that is fine because it could have done another way. Kung 200,000 uli naging 100,000 ngayon,
Pero,
hindi
sir,
naman namin gustong bayaran sila.
Yung excuse me, Senator Cayetano, I'll just interject. Yung pagbebenta ng Alpha Land was without your prior authorization.
Nagkakaalam po kami that there were developments.
Yeah, I know, but yung pagbebenta na nila ng units, kasi wala nga yung supplemental agreement eh.
Ang usapan po
So-
doon basta we get 15%. Hindi namin at that time, we did not deem it necessary na bawat ibebenta nila, aaprubahan namin. Basta ang usapan po, we get 15% of the
So,
value.
in effect, hindi nyo nasusundan yung literal meaning ng kontrata. Kasi sa kontrata, you have to get 15%.
Of the total value, sir.
No, you talked about area eh.
Yeah.
You will pinpoint the units and then you sum up your area and then dapat yun 15% of the total area. So in effect parang you will just be you will follow 15%, but you're changing the concept of the 15% sa value na.
No, sir. May I explain? The contract, the joint venture was on the basic right of 15% of the land area. But there is a collatilla here, if I may read, that for the purpose, the parties shall mutually agree on the method of allocating the individual units of the project among themselves and shall execute a supplemental agreement to formalize such allocation, which supplement shall form part until part thereof. That's the reason why this committee was organized.
Yes, sir. And our point is that when you organize the committee, talo na ang Boyscout eh. Kasi nagbenta na sila, na limit na po yung choice nyo. Kung yan po ay hindi sa Boyscout, yan ay sa inyo. Yung nga lang tawaran ng bayar ng 1.5 million, baka hindi kayo pumayag eh. But, and sir, ano bang unang nabibili na mga unit sa condo? Hindi ba yung pinakamagaganda? Ayoko gamitin latak kasi first class naman yung ano yan. Pero ordinarily, yung mga latak ang natitira dyan. So, if you want real value, sa umpisa pa lang, ang pipiliin ng Boy Scout, yung pinakamagaganda. Then you decide, do we want to sell now because maganda yung price? Or do we want to sell later na mas mataas ang presyo? Pero ang nangyari po sa inyo, double whammy. Hindi na kayo namili. So, napili na nung Alpha Land yung madaling ibenta, and then, ang presyo pang ibibigay sa inyo, hindi yung presyo kung kailan kayo mamimili. Pero yung presyo, kailan nila nabenta. So, in the meantime, yung pera na sa kanila, the last few years, kumita na rin. Pero in the meantime, until 2014, zero ang nakuhang pera ng Boy Scouts.
Well, nakikita ko po yung punto ninyo at siguro mamaya mapapaluanin ko rin, hindi naman kami nasi-zero. Ngayon po, totoo yun na tumaas. Pero pwede rin po sa real estate na bumaba. Kaya po, yung sinabing 200,000 at that time, we thought was a fair market value at that time. For as long as you got 15%, we were in good shape. And then, yung ibang balanse pa, kung anong presyo, doon po naman ibabase yung share din namin ng 15%. So altogether, even while the contract at the beginning was on the basis of land area, floor area, 15%, in the end, and this is agreed with them from the beginning, we should get 15% the total valuation of the property on the basis of the market price. So, sa ngayon po,
Did they agree? Kasi
yes,
parang
yes.
novation yan eh. Parang binabago nyo.
Hindi po. This is in the contract, in the original.
Well,
we have to mutually agree.
Yeah, the same contract is right before me, yung paragraph na binasa ninyo. So, ako, para sa akin, ang nakuha kong meaning is really sa floor area eh. Mag-sharing 15%, then since naunahan kayo sa pagbebenta, you're just adjusting now your position. Okay, let us just sum up all of those sold, the amount, 15% namin, all of those not yet. Doon sa not yet sold, how will you allot it? Diba sa per unit?
We will, right now, we are evaluating, assigning value to all the units. And then, masisiguruhin po namin, so the units will get the total value of all the properties on the basic.
Sir, okay. Ang gusto nyo sabihin, doon sa sold already, dahil sa sold already, re-remedyohan nyo na lang. 15% na lang of whatever we have sold, all of this. Kaya, how about doon sa unsold? What is now your procedure?
Sa unsold, we get units assigned, the value.
Okay.
Then we get the total amount of all the units, and we get 15% of the total value, and then we choose the units, and of course, we get the best units now.
Oh, then you get the units, tama. Precisely.
Yes,
kasi anyway, ang cost naman ng unit, dependent naman sa area din niya yun eh. Related ang cost, maybe pati sa floor, but basically sa size niya, sa area niya, ang price niya, tama? So pagdating dun sa unsold, you will now follow the joint venture. Pagdating dun sa already sold, without your prior authorization, nagre-remedyo na lang kayo na since nangyari na, let's just get 15% of the value. Ganun po ba?
Well, that's one way of looking at it. Pero ang tingin po namin is, for as long as the total value, we get 15%, then we are able to comply, protect the interests of the Boy Scouts.
Well, Mr. President, Mr. Chair, let me try to recalibrate or ayusin yung usapan. No? Because it's very different now, Governor, between your testimony and Mr. Avisado. Because ang impression ko, you came in 2014 precisely to fix,
October.
October 2014, precisely to fix the problem. But the problem was already there.
No,
No?
just,
I'm not saying this because I know your kaibigan, alam ko reputation mo, okay? Because when the Boy Scout entered into the deal, ang sabi nila, kailangan ng pera. Kasi kawawa ang mga bata, kawawa mga magulang, mahihirap, nagbibigay lahat. Kasi kung ang punto lang ay investment, tulugan nyo lang yung lupa, billion-billion na yan. Sa Makati yan eh. And ang lupa, nowhere to go but up. Kung meron mang 97 crisis, 07 crisis, malang yan for a while, tataas na naman yan eh. Di ba? In Fort Bonifacio, it's more than 500,000 per square already. In certain parts of Makati, it's what? 300, 350,000 pesos per square. So kung ang pinag-uusapan lang natin investment, at yun lang ang gusto ng Boy Scout, tinulugan lang yung property, pinalis lang, because Vice, by what year nasa pupunta na yan sa Boy Scout? By 2026, sa Boy Scout na yan eh. Okay. So the reason why you entered into a deal is para immediately, no? Meron pong mapunta sa Boy Scout. Ang problema po, and again, that's why hindi po kayo ang resource person na tatanungin ko, but si Atty. Avisado later on, no? Bago dumating dun sa hatian, nag-jump po kayo sa hatian, and that's correct because that's your job eh. Pero dun pa lang sa valuation ng lupa, dun pa lang sa deal sa Alphaland, may problema na eh. Tapos pagdating pa dun po sa Tower 1, 2, and 3 at pagpipili, may problema na. At bakit hindi nila pinili nung maaga at ba't hindi nila kinuha yung pera? You do not sell the units and you do not get your share if you have money and you want to invest. But the Boy Scouts needed money. So those who were 12 years old, 13, 14, graduate na ngayon eh. At hindi nakatikim na ni 5 all these years. Samantala, si Mr. Oreta at si Secretary Ongpin, laughing their way to the bank already. Diba? So that's the main point here. But again, that's not your concern. You're here to report that you're putting things in order and there are arrangements being done to protect the Boy Scout. Am I correct?
yes.
At least
And
at that last line po.
Opo. And also, to report that on the basis agreements, we now have this 6,161 square meters in the third floor of the podium. That's making some money for the Boy Scouts of the Philippines.
Sir, but since COA is here, I do not know if I'm correct, but I think I am, and they will look. They will look at your agreements.
Oh yes, please.
And when they look at it, the basis of COA is not what is a fair deal. The basis is what is the best deal for the Boy Scout, because the job of the Boy Scout is to protect. Because whatever happens,
yes.
kumita na ng bilyon ang ang Alphaland. That's why I'm saying that and giving a fair warning that hindi pwedeng parang MILF government panel dito na lahat kampi sa MILF. Kailangan ang Boy Scout ipaglaban yung sa Boy Scout,
yes.
yung sa Alphaland ipaglaban sa kanila. Pero what is fair kasi is subjective, sir. I know what you're saying. I know you're a fair person, no? But and kasi nabenta na yan. Isang unit na yan. Pero problema kasi nung committee nung araw yun eh. Bakit hindi nila finors ang Alphaland na mamili na? We all know that pag sinabi mong 15% of 20,000 square meters, hindi pare-pareho yan. Kung anong unit, kung ano yung bintana, kung ano tinitignan, kung ilan ang banyo ng unit, kung anong floor yung unit, di ba? Lahat yun ay may epekto sa coste. At ang nakalagay sa kontrata, hindi 15% of 15% nung buong construction, pero nakalagay din doon, you can choose the unit. Kayo ang unang mag-choose eh. So meaning, the BSP could have chosen the best units and could have made more money for the BSP. But you're here to clean it up kasi by the time you came in, ilan na yung nabenta nila eh. So that's our problem here. It's not your fault because you came in October 2014, but that's our point in talking to the Boy Scouts. Nalugi na paulit-ulit ang Boy Scouts and you're trying to clean it up. So the only guidelines we can give you, sir, is try to do your best and get the best deal for them. No, but most of our issues here was before you came in.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. I think ultimately here, if I may just point out, will get 15% of the total value. And of course, it depends on the prices that will prevail at the market when the final valuation happens. If I may just add, Your Honor, that third floor of the podium was also recently appraised, and it's now at 200,000 per square meter, and therefore that's worth 1.2 billion for the Boy Scouts of the Philippines. And as a matter of fact, if we add all together present market value, the share of the 600 million investment of Boy Scouts amounts to 2.9 billion on the basis of current market value.
May I ask you, sir, how much is the rental of, di ba Alpha Land is using now the podium for their showroom?
Yes.
How
yes,
much
Honor.
is the rental?
1,500 500 pesos per square meter.
And how many
Honor.
square meters?
1,500? 1,300 square meters, Honor.
1,300 square meters. So this is about what percent of the value of the podium?
In a year, I think we're talking of like a million.
500, so 850. 650,000 a year? A month.
A month. Times 1.2.
Times 12.
Times 12,
no?
rather.
Times 12.
So that's like 800,000.
Yung 1.2 billion po na sinasabi nyo, that's the whole podium.
If we sell the podium now, the third floor, the
third
share
floor.
namin po.
Okay.
Share namin.
Anyway, can we have the numbers so that we can compute, no?
6,161 square meters.
Yeah. But sir, to show you now where the problem is, I hear you, maganda report nyo, 15%, kinukubra na namin yan. But from the start, when we looked at the value, Boy Scout should have had 30% and not 15%. So all the values you're saying now, kalahati lang nakuha nyo. Because Alpha Land valued your share of 15% in the lower valuation of the land. And any joint venture, they look at the value of the land vis-a-vis the project cost. And that's where our discussion was before you came in. So I hear you. You're saying now, eto yung 15%, eto na sa kontrata, ipaglalaban namin yan, kukunin na namin at nagre-report ka na ng amounts. But ang tinatransmit naman po namin sa inyo, because as you said, you've been a Boy Scout, you'll always be a Boy Scout, you'll fight for the Boy Scout. So please look into this. No? Because my inclination now is to have some sort of a receivership for the Boy Scouts, which would include you or you. Kasi walang assurance ngayon na pinoprotektahan yung interest ng Boy Scout. Can I interrupt with, I'll read this very quickly, no? February 20, 2015, Honorable Senator Cayetano, I'm Inocentes M. Notarte, age 69, and a resident of Villa Alegre, Batingal, Dumaguete City. I was a former public school teacher for 4 years and 11 months and transferred work as a field scout executive of Negros Oriental Siquijor Council, BSP, with the office capital area Dumaguete City. After working faithfully in the said BSP Council for 16 years and 5 months, I applied for retirement, which was duly approved by our local executive board, December 2003. I was 58 years old. Verbally and truly, our local executive board denied me any cash benefit for my retirement for the reason that we had no collective bargaining agreement. I filed a court action which was finally decided against me by the Court of Appeal, Cebu City. I could recall since early 2000, the Boy Scout of the Philippines have been engaged in self-insurance of all its registered members. Self-insurance meaning sila nagbabayad ng sarili nilang insurance, which is unduly competing with licensed insurance companies. To make money out of it, only accidents related to scouting activities are compensated. The idea that the Boy Scouts of the Philippines is not involved in government fund is not true. Because if not all, mostly local BSP council depend upon donations and financial aid by government or private entities or personnel. I am more than confused when Attorney Aviso, I guess this was Avisado, no? Mentioned that the BSP National Office appropriate 100 pesos per participant in BSP Jamborees because the truth of the matter is every Jamboree, each participant pays annual fee of 500 pesos or more. I think other retired professional scouters or scout executives know better about this and know more about the common idea that if you want to construct a house, just put up a jamboree, as mentioned by the late and former Secretary General Colonel Cesar Batillo. So, na-touch lang ako dito. Marami pang ibang sulat at yung iba mas graphic, etc. So, that's why sa akin, hindi na about Vice President, hindi na about graph tong hearing na to eh. Kung hindi talagang paano ayusin at kunin. Kasi, so what sa Boy Scout kung meron kang 5 billion worth? Hindi naman sila real estate developers eh. Hindi naman sila shareholders eh. What matters to the Boy Scouts is yung jamboree nila, yung uniforme nila, yung kinokolekta sa magulang nila, yung campsites nila, no? Yung sweldo or yung allowance man lang maliit ng scout masters nila, yung mga nagre-retire makakakuha ba? So siguro as a scout for more than 50 years, Governor, no? Pagdanganan, you would see where this is all going. I know you're trying to fix it now, no? And we will continue to look at the point na kumita ba talaga ang Vice President dito, may corruption ba dito, etc. But siguro I'll use this chance to appeal, no, sa lahat ng scout. Sumulat kayo at wag na sa aming mga senador. Sumulat kayo sa inyong executive committee, etc. Yes. No? Kay Governor Pagdanganan para makita nyo. Pero talagang nakakaiyak, no, na isipin na ganito ang nangyayari, no. But anyway, sir, can you submit, no, yung financial, yung sinasabi nyo, just so that we don't make a mistake sa numbers. But when Senator Osmeña gets back, no, he wants the chance na himayin ulit. Bakit nga 15%? At bakit dumating doon? I will not, hindi ko po ubusin yung time natin dahil we have limited time with repeating Attorney Avisado, you've said your part and the explanation, no? But there are just some questions there that have to be clarified. But we have some more time. Are there other things that are important that you want the committee to put on record?
Your Honor, I would like to request a copy of that letter later on so we can act on what, because there's indeed this financial assistance package in the Boy Scouts now. We should be able to attend to that. But anyway, I thank the chair, the honorable.
I will, Attorney Avisado, are you going to say something? But just, after, I'll remind you about submissions. Yes. I will remind you. Again,
the assessment by Curve of Appraisal was 954,629,000. Because of failure of bidding, then there was this authority given to negotiate, to look for options, and then came, at that time, Colliers was authorized, Sime Darby was authorized, and then Alpha Land came into the picture. So I'm just highlighting, there was publication.
Sir, did you know how Alpha Land came into the picture?
I have information.
How did they come into the picture?
They made an offer.
No, sir. In the last hearing, sir, pinakilala ni Vice President Binay, si Mr. Oreta, kay Vice Mayor Mercado. Saka lang sila nag-offer.
Okay. So, all right.
So it was a personal talk between the Vice President and Mr. Oreta that started the deal.
Okay, just to clarify. Corrected, Your Honor. All right. So, then Alphalan came in, and so the deal was, it was joint venture agreement eventually, and we had 15% share on the basis of 600 million share of the 1 billion. In other words, even while it was a practice of the Philippines to dispose of the property as early as 1990, because the part of Sime Darby they wanted out of the country, and for Boy Scouts, Your Honor, we had to raise funds because we cannot survive on just a 26 pesos contribution per member. Now, we made sure that along the way, the procedures and the bylaws of the Boy Scouts of the Philippines were followed. On May 18, 1994, the resolution was approved by the National Council authorizing the sale of the property. A bidding was undertaken after publication in Business World, Manila Bulletin, and PDI. And eventually it was a bidding, but there was a failure in bidding. I'll tell why later on, the honor. Then, in Cayenne de Oro in 1997, precisely on May 29, another resolution was passed to authorize the sale. Again, there was bidding, but again, there was failure of bidding. And the main reason why the bidding failed at that time was even while there were pre-authorized bidders, they did not pursue the bid
Si Governor Pagdanganan was raising his hand. No? Let's go back to BSP muna. Can we prepare the presentation of Atty. Ponferrada? Yeah, Governor Pagdanganan.
Thank you,
please.
Your Honor. I just wanted to clarify a few points, hopefully to shed light on the transaction Malugay property and to assure the public that we were able to assure the public that we are able to prevent any kalukuhan dito, and we've been able to assure the public that we have protected the interest of Boy Scouts of the Philippines. The property in question is Malugay property, 1 hectare, which was donated by Goodyear Philippines, later Sime Darby Philippines, to the Boy Scouts on condition that it will be leased back for 25 years initially, renewable for another 25 years, which means that from 1976, when it was finalized, it will be leased to them until 2026. Now, there is this mutual interest on the part of Sime Darby and Boy Scout because of two reasons. The lien on the title, because the lease rental, and also because of height restrictions in Makati at that time. Now, finally, in 2007, on December 14, 2007, the National Executive Board, then Corporate Assets Management Committee Chair and Vice President of Boy Scouts, the Honorable then Vice Mayor Mercado, submitted a proposal to the board, and here there were two main aspects. Number one, to have the appraisal of Malugay property undertaken, and number two, to get the authorization to negotiate the sale or come up with some arrangement by which we can give due course the desire of the Boy Scouts to raise funds. Indeed, the Malugay property was appraised by three parties: Asian Appraisal, Colliers, and Cuervo Appraisal. I noticed Mr. Cuervo is here. And the highest appraisal was that by Mr. Cuervo at 954,629,000 pesos for the total area. Again, 954,629,000. And then there was an attempt to bid, but again, there was a failure of bidding on February 22, 2008, Your Honor. And because of that, the failure of bidding was because only one participated, Ayala Land. I have the documents which can turn over to the proper authorities in COA, because we welcome COA. That's the truth at the Boy Scouts. Now, Ayala Land participated, the only one, so there was failure of bidding. And therefore...
Sir, just on that point, you welcome COA now, but you've always resisted them as a Boy Scout.
As a Boy Scout, Your Honor, at the beginning, we were not a GOCC, and we had a private auditor, the SGV.
Yeah.
When the initial attempt was done, the board deliberated and decided to clarify certain legal points.
Okay.
So that was the only thing there. But of course, we need to settle, Your Honor. We've been working with them at the head office, as far as I'm concerned. Now, to continue, Your Honor, so